Hey, how's it going?
What's up, bro?
Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Amateur Opinions, the podcast. It's your host, Deuce, and I'm with my man, Tappy Tappy. How's it going?
I'm good, bro.
Hey,
this is actually my first time back since you've changed.
I remember during that time I was in the process of changing the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Initially we were called, what was our name? 12-minute podcast.
Yeah.
Changed it back to, let me actually fix your microphone real quick.
Sure
Should have done that.
Am I pulling it towards me?
Wait, let me do this.
Yeah, right. This is behind the scenes, folks. This is what we do here.
This is what we do. Okay, your mic is good now. Okay,
All
so
right.
now you just need to. Okay, there we
Cool.
go. Yeah, it was called 12-minute podcast. Now we're back to being. We're called Amateur Opinions now.
Was this the popular vote, or you decided against the popular vote?
Yeah, I decided against the popular. The popular vote was Uncommon Sense.
Yeah.
Realized there were like a couple of shows called Uncommon Sense. So
Oh, fuck.
yeah, so we're like, yeah, okay. That's not gonna work out really well. So we took Amateur Opinions. We were the only show called Amateur Opinions. It's a bit surprising, but and we figured it made sense because we talk about a lot of topics. Like we spoke about abortion one of the few episodes ago. We spoke about like financial stuff. So I've spoken about social stuff. But I'm not a professional in any of those, right?
Yeah.
But that's what we do in real life. We talk about different things that we don't really know anything about.
And you have facts on this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you have strong opinions on it, but you're not really a pro. So it's like that's why it's amateur opinions. Like, look, we're amateurs in a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about. But that's what it is. Especially me as the host, because I bring a lot of people in.
Yeah.
You're a professional in like science, right? But I'm not. So I have amateur opinions on it, but you'll be like, talking like, giving out, and then I'll be learning and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the listeners and the viewers will be learning too. So it's like an interesting mix.
that's
So
great,
it's just
yeah.
like, amateur opinions, like, makes sense.
Dope.
Yeah.
You
Otherwise,
get two people who have nothing to do with that topic. That's proper amateur opinion.
that's proper amateur opinions, which is a lot of the time because like today, it's not like we're gonna be talking about science, which is that's what you're like professional like knowledge like.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Professionally speaking, where you can prove like, I know what I'm talking about. Like when you talk about other stuff, you can't really prove that you're like a pro at it, right? But anyway, so last time, so you've actually been on the show before. Spoke about living off the grid. It was one of my favorite episodes actually. It was very interesting. We spoke about like having kids and all that stuff. And after the episode, off the air, you told me you were going on a road trip. Yeah, to Durban.
Yeah.
And you're on a motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was one of the best things I've done by myself. Absolutely changed my life. It was only like maybe a week.
Yeah.
But in terms of personal productivity, that was a very productive week.
Okay.
For like my own development as a human being. Yeah. So the idea was I had a motorcycle that was maybe... I went in April and I bought it in November. So about 5 months old. So if there was ever a time I was going to use that bike for a long trip, it was going to be then, before it got really old and run down, right?
Okay.
So reduce the chance of breakdowns and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, and the idea was just to drive for no reason, right? Just take some time off. Actually, I decided like maybe 3 weeks before I went, I was just like, I'm doing it, I'm going to go. And booked a couple of Airbnb spots along the way.
Nice.
And the idea was to do about 700 kilometers a day.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a lot.
But and you think in a car 700 km, yeah, that's all right, right? That's like we can even leave when it's daytime and you
Yes.
get there fine, no worries, right? So I was like, actually, yeah, that's all right, because to KZN was going to be 1,600 kilometers from Stellenbosch,
Okay.
and I chose KZN because I wanted to see the coastal road, the N2 coming back. That was a really part I really wanted to see in terms of the countryside, the country, because I've never really traveled through South Africa. I've only flown to spots in South Africa.
Yeah.
Right? Unlike back home in Zim, I've done
Pretty
the
much
country.
drive
Right,
everywhere,
yeah.
yeah.
Everywhere I've seen that country.
Yes.
Right. And I was like, yeah, I've lived here for 15 years. I need to see more of this country, right? And first day, I had to do, I think, 666 kilometers, right?
666.
Yeah. Right. And there's that
Right.
excitement because it was when was the rainy season had just started kicking in.
Okay, what month is this?
This is April.
April, okay.
Right? And so there was this sort of anxiety around the weather and it's starting to get cold. And I was driving on the N1 towards Lesotho as well. And that's like cold country, right? And before I leave, I get the bike serviced. I speak to my bike mechanic shop and they're like, okay, here's what you need. Things to fix your tires on the fly, jerry cans for fuel, your water rations, zip ties, duct tape, practical things. They gave me a whole list. And then on the very last day before I left, the morning of, I was meant to do some paperwork stuff, right? But then my dude phoned me like, oh, listen, dude, also don't forget to get this. Then I got distracted and I never did the paperwork. Then I just left.
Wait, so you said this is paperwork for?
Now I'll get to the paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, go on.
This is important detail just to remember vaguely,
Right, okay.
right? So I leave and I'm driving through the Karoo. And so I'm taking the N1 to sort of approximately Bloemfontein and then to KZN, all right? And it is freezing through the desert, cold. But it's like blue skies and it's beautiful. But because you're driving for so long, you can see this change in the terrain quite progressively. So it's nice to see, you're seeing all the farms, the wine farms, and suddenly you're seeing the sheep farms and suddenly just barren nothingness, right? And you suddenly have a lot of time to think about anything, right? Especially on a bike, because on a bike I had Bluetooth for navigation and for music, right? My headset, my earbuds, right? But there's also the wind is a problem. If you're on the bike for too long, it starts becoming really irritating. You're really aware of the noise, so they recommend you use earbuds to distract from that sound. But then after a while, those earbuds start hurting in your ear, and the helmet has been pressing on your forehead for 7 hours now. So it's really, so you're going through it and you're thinking about this stuff, right? So then I get to around 400 kilometers, right? And you're meant to stop every 4 to 5 minutes to rest the bike and rest yourself, right? So it's almost like 3 o'clock now, and sunset is at 6:30, right? And I have to make it, and I still have like 200, 300 something Ks to go. And your back is shredded, right? Because you've been just like this the whole day, right? Just upright the whole day. And now it starts, so now you're no longer thinking about, oh, what kind of thoughts do I have? Ooh, I like this. Oh, look at that. That's wonderful, right? Now it's just like pain. I need to do 10 more Ks. I need to do 10 more Ks. I need to do 10 more Ks, right? And you got 30 of those cycles to go through and to get to your 300K.
Yeah.
Man, it teaches you a lot about your own sort of resilience, right? And then I think the last 200 Ks I didn't stop at all.
Wow.
Right? When you meant to stop at 4 to 5 minutes, would have been roughly maybe 80 Ks. So I was meant to stop 3 times, maybe 3.5 times.
And you stop for how long?
15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So every hour you lose 15 minutes to rest.
Right.
So if you every time you rest,
up.
So if you rest 4 times, you've lost an hour of time, right? Which translates to about 100 Ks of your journey, roughly. So resting is now costing me, and the sun is going down, and you're nowhere, and your Bluetooth is running down, your GPS is now compromised. I had a spare phone, but still, I don't want to get there after dark in new territory, especially because wild animals and all that.
Yeah.
Eventually, I make it to the backpackers, because that's the thing as well. It was a very thrifty trip. I wasn't spending money on a lot. I get to the backpackers, and I meet like the most Afrikaans people you can meet, right? Especially because of the area I was in. I can't remember the name of the town now, right? And you have your own preconceptions about these people, right? You already know, this is going to be shitsville. Me and Afrikaans people, it's going to be a bad time.
Especially in like a remote town.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you're already picturing like a lynching going down, right?
See, like holding like fireworks.
Yeah, right? The town is going to revolt. And so he told me a lot about my own thoughts about people, right? Because these were the most amazing people, right? It was 2 brothers, right? And they were hippies, right? And I never think of Afrikaans people as hippies.
Yeah.
Like they had the bandanas and the long flowy hair and peace, love, kumbaya, John Lennon shit, And I was like, oh, that's amazing. And they gave me, so I was going to go buy food in that town to cook for myself. It was self-catering. And I got there, it was too late. It was like 8 o'clock and there were no shops open because it's a small town.
Yeah.
And they made me supper and like made me like fancy like Karoo lamb liver. Like I'd never had some. It was really nice. I was like, okay, thanks for the surprise. So a lot of that happened along the journey where you meet people, you have ideas about them, and they disappoint you in a good way. Yeah, it was really, really nice. That's not to say people are not terrible. Some people are not terrible, right? But you can just like blanketly classify people without giving them a chance. Is one of the lessons I got from that. Stayed overnight and then left the next day. Headed. I wish I could remember the names of the towns now.
Yeah.
Right. So now we've sort of left the Karoo, now headed towards the Free State. And again, you think Free State, you think Bur
Again.
and you think really backward kind of opinion about black people. Right. So I'm very hyper aware of this. And now I'm in really rural country because I didn't take the main highway through the Free State. I took like side roads because I really want to get in there. So if I broke down, I was going to be screwed.
Yeah.
If I ran into some dodgy people, I was going to be screwed. Right. And how remote it is, right? In the Karoo, the sheep see you and they don't even flinch because you're a human being, it's a bike, whatever. In the Free State, the sheep are like wild animals, right? They see you and they're like scatter, like holy fuck, right? Because they see the farmer like once every 3 weeks or something, right? And they don't see vehicles that often. So I was like really, really back and beyond. And now this is when sort of the meditation kicks in now, because now you're by yourself, really by yourself, even in terms of other people on the road. So you start thinking about big life questions, like why am I here? What if I die out here?
Yeah.
Or, would it be okay? Will people miss me? Am I important? Does it matter? And also because you start getting not lonely, but you start in a way that there's no one else around you. You change from thinking in your mind to thinking thoughts out loud. Or certainly I did. And you said like, oh wow, that's an amazing view. Stop, let's take a photo. But I literally say those words, right, to myself,
Yeah.
right? And I've got earphones and music playing, but I'm
Yeah.
still saying those words to myself. It was very bizarre for me, right? And I know some people normally talk to themselves in general.
Yeah. Like I do.
Yeah, I've never been
Yeah.
that person,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Even when I'm watching a comedy alone, I won't laugh. I'll laugh internally because I feel like laughter is something you do communally, right? So the actual vocalization for laughter is something
Yeah.
you do together.
Yeah.
And it's contagious and everybody gets,
Yeah.
okay, he must be happy, right? It's a cue
Yeah.
for other people.
True.
So when you're by yourself, I'm like, yeah, that was funny though.
Yeah. That's true. That's actually true. Because like sometimes like I can watch a video and then I decide to like, if there's like people around, I decide to actually laugh loudly or like just laugh loudly so that like they know like, oh, something funny is happening.
Yeah.
Also like it's a way of like, yeah, I'm laughing and you're not. Like,
Why aren't
should
you
be
laughing?
jealous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so I feel you. Okay. Yeah.
So the reason I took the N1 first is I wanted to get to Golden Gate National Park before it was too cold.
Right.
Right, and before the rain really kicked in. Because as close to Lesotho, so it's in the highlands, like Drakensberg, it's really cold, that area.
Yeah.
I've never seen... Have you been Chilogoj?
No, I haven't been.
Or in that general area with the really sort of canyon-y type landscape. Oh, man.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Golden Gate National Park. Everybody, if you're in South Africa, drive there. It is fantastic.
And you said that's in
Phenomenal.
Free State.
Yeah,
Okay.
Free State / Maritzburg kind of area. And breathtaking views. And the roads are just beautiful, like windy roads, and you're in these valleys and you just see like waterfalls and like just a sheer beauty and scale of nature there. It's like, imagine being in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
You feel so small.
Yeah.
And the space is just so massive and striking. And I think I stopped maybe every 3 minutes to take a photo because I've never seen something like this before. Oh, wow. And the next one is always better,
Yeah.
better, right? Up to a point where you just have to decide, okay, we need to hit the road now.
Right.
Right. And then I didn't really plan on detours or anything. I just want to drive and see whatever comes up, right? But before I got to Golden Gate, the day before, I think I was going to Vicksburg. Yeah, that's where my accommodation was, in Vicksburg. And so on the Airbnb booking, they didn't say anything about the conditions of the road, right? But once you've paid for it, so now I'm reviewing my payment. Oh, I'm on the road the morning of that trip now. I'm on the road and it says, oh, by the way, the last in case is dirt road. And I'm like, my bike is a city bike. Damn, right? So again, the daylight ran out before I could get there.
Ooh.
So now it's like 7 p.m. and I got a quarter of a tank of fuel, but I have about 10 Ks to go. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I can
not
make
too
it.
bad.
Right? So I ignored the fuel station
Okay.
and I just carried on, right? But it was 10 Ks to the town and then another 10 Ks to the B&B, because it was like deep in this rural community, beautiful place. But I didn't know that yet. So now I drive through and now because I'm only driving gear number 1 because I'm on this dirt road in the dark and there's a thunderstorm coming, right? Running out of fuel.
Yeah.
Right. So you can see that the gauge is dropping, bro. You're like, shit. Right. And I know there's no way I'm going to be I'm not going to be able to make it back the next morning. I'm like, nah, but that's a future problem.
Right.
So you learn to surrender the process a lot.
We'll deal with that.
Yeah, right. You can't control the situation at all. You just prepare the best as you can, but you must accept that most of it's going to go wrong.
And what sucks most is you actually ignored
the
station.
Something I should have done something about. Yeah, right. And so, and all along, I'd been getting fuel stations in quite nice chunks of time. So I never had to use the jerrycans, actually. I never used them at all.
How did you carry those?
Just like saddlebags on the side of the bike.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had a little bike box as well. There's no way you can carry a backpack.
Okay.
So I had a little delivery type box kind of thing at the back of the bike.
And how big are the jerry cans? Like in terms of
15 liters each.
15. Okay.
Yeah. But also they add weight to the bike and they make you skid and stuff. So it's not a good idea, right? Unless you really need to. So I didn't do it.
Okay.
And I also had like I had a pair of boots, some sandals, I think a pair of jeans, some thermal underwear, some sort of fleecy sort of sports pants kind of vibe.
Right.
Maybe 2 t-shirts. It was very like thrifty stuff for a week. Like literally I had to wash things every other day to stay,
Stay fresh.
Stay fresh. Yeah.
Freshish.
Yeah, freshish. Yeah, your breath, bruh. Because you just need that helmet the whole day. Oh, you have to carry mints everywhere.
Oh, man. Oh.
So anyway, I eventually get to the start of the gravel road. I'm like 10 Ks of this. I was so pissed. And it rained the day before, so now it's mud, gravel. I was so angry at that woman at the Airbnb. I get there and I'm just like, is the kitchen still open? They're like, nah, the restaurant is closed. I'm like, you guys are making me food. I'm hungry. You are going to make me food. I was having none of that shit. Right. So 8:30, I get food, blah, blah, blah. The next morning I wake up, rejuvenated. I go outside, breathtaking place. Because I drove in at night, I had no idea where I was. Right. Yes. You look at it like, people live like this. Yeah. Beautiful. And then I still had now deal with the fuel situation in the morning. And luckily, they know people often go through this problem, so they keep fuel on the spot, and then you just buy from them at a premium.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a business. Yeah. It's a business. So
you're
that
paying
worked
for the
out.
convenience too.
So then I leave now, and I'm driving to the next town. So they gave me just enough fuel to get to the next town and get fuel there. And I get to this town, all the stations have no fuel. Right?
Why?
It's just too early in the day. It's so remote. They get deliveries.
Oh, okay.
At very predictable moments, and if he runs out, they have to wait until the delivery is coming. Right? Or unpredictable moments, sorry. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to this breakfast place. And I had this all-you-can-eat buffet. It was like 80 rand. I was like, these people don't know me. Then I sat there for like 3 hours, smashing this breakfast.
That's all you can eat.
Yeah, right? But obviously now I'm losing travel time.
Yes.
Right? Eventually I get back on the road, and I get my fuel in the next town. And I'm now going through the Free State remote town and blah, 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 blah. Right. Go through Golden Gate, Clarence, get fuel, and everything's working out, right? And then I get to... So now I've been on the road 3 days by myself in very pristine areas where human beings haven't really messed things up that much.
Yeah.
Right? It's still very natural. And then I arrive in Pietermaritzburg, right? And first thing I do is I went to a shopping mall because I just needed to use the bathroom, right? And you're suddenly really aware of how disgusting we are as a people and the kind of things we do to the planet, right? And everyone's just so angry and so busy and so loud and, like KFC fast food smells.
Yeah.
And it's just, too much. You've gone from very peaceful, serene, zen kind of vibes to just like, imagine like going to like Mr. Price after payday on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That feeling. Oh, that's like raw, but like worse because you've been so removed from it. And I've never had... I felt ill from being around people. I was like, motherfuckers, I just can't do this, right? And so luckily I then left and I was staying with a friend of mine, and she's white, right? And I met her before she left Cape Town, and I was going to be meeting her parents for the first time, right? And again, I have my ideas about white people, right? And we all do, about anyone really, right? I was like, I hope they're not racist, right? Or at least openly racist, right?
At least be in the closet.
Yeah. Keep it to yourself, it's fine. As long as you feed me, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So I get there, right? And I was only meant to stay there 2 nights. And they turned out to be even more wholesome than she was, right? Like just wholesome people. And the work they do is... It's someone who lives in Africa who's working on African problems versus I'm a white person who happens to live on this continent, and I'm just doing whatever I want to do. So the kind of work that we do is focus, and even like the language choices they make when they're talking about SAMP, they'll say umngusho, and they do the clicks, they're bothered to learn about the people around them, and they live in this really different way for the white people that I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They feel like black people wearing like white face,
Right.
in a sense, right?
Right.
Like they know where they are, and
They immerse themselves in the culture.
Right? But not to the point, because sometimes you can tell these are people who are trying to fit in, right? Versus actually, it makes sense to them, right? And no one coys them into this living, and they're like in the 60s, 70s now, and they've done like written books on like indigenous plants and like interventions in local communities about pollution and helping people in informal settlements, and like this huge scale of things they've done. And we really clicked in terms of life philosophy, that whole off-grid living.
Yeah.
And they only grow plants in their yard from that area. You know, like they consume their own, like tsine, they eat tsine, like blackjack greens, if people don't know, which is often considered a weed. And they schooled me on medicinal plants, right, from the region. And I'm serious about my plants, right? And I'm like, oh, wow, this is a different space. To the point, actually, it's like, can I stay another day? So I end up staying there 3 days instead of 2 days, right? Because I was learning so much from these people and had amazing time. And I was foraging in their garden the whole time and cooking things. So I was cooking and they would enjoy their food in different ways, and, you know, that kind of thing. So I wasn't paying rent,
Right.
but I was giving back in that, you know, sense, which was something I wanted to do all along the trip. I didn't manage to do a lot of it. And then the next day, I go into Durban now. It's now on the Monday. I think I left on the Wednesday. Now it's Monday. I get into Durban, and then I had a rope shoot with a friend of mine. So I met up with my friend, and when we hung out until like maybe 1 a.m. I'm like, okay, time to get to my Airbnb. And this is the first night of the flooding.
Oh.
Right. You know, the Durban flooding that happened. Yeah. So now I'm on the highway. I had to drive like 5-10 Ks, right? But, you know, I don't know if you remember that Cape Argus when the wind was picking
The wind was crazy.
bikes.
Yeah, people's bikes, yeah.
It was like that, but it's
2 years
raining
ago.
as well. And the highways are along the coast. I've never been that close to death in my life, right? I'm on the highway doing like maybe 60 Ks an hour. The rain is so intense, you can't see where you're going. You're just hoping for the next white line, for the next white line, right? And my boots, because I got biker boots, my boots are on the ground to balance the bike. It's not like I'm bracing. They're literally skiing on the ground, right? And then out of nowhere, this huge pothole, like a gully. It wasn't even like a pothole. The whole bike goes in, goof, goof, and I come out and you just keep going, right? Because now I don't know where I am, how the danger levels, whatever. I eventually get the Airbnb. I'm like, oh, I made it, right? Which a friend of mine offered to me as well. She lives in Denmark, but they've kept the flat there. I get there and I'm just like, thank God I made it, right? I'm done. I need to go to sleep. It's like 1 a.m. now, 1:30. So I'm like, yeah, to security, can I leave the bike here? Yeah, cool. And my friend said, yeah, you can park your bike there. No worries, right? So they've got one of those complexes where there's no wall. The door is the wall. The first thing you do is you just enter the complex.
Right.
So I left my bike right in front of that spot. Then I went to sleep. Next morning, I wake up and there's water in the flat. I'm like, what's going on? Right, this is weird. But because of the rain, someone's balcony had trapped water in. And it came in. They have a really poor balcony design. So the balcony is higher than the room. So the water flows in, into the flat, out of the flat, through the corridors, into my flat. Right. I was like, what the hell? So I go downstairs to security to explain the situation. Can you phone these people? Because they were not there, right? In any case, let me see how my bike is doing. I look outside. The bike is gone. Right. So I'm like, oh, this is actually great, right? I've never felt like such a relief in my life, right? Because I had booked all the Airbnbs along the way, right? And I was meeting a friend of mine in Cape Town on that Friday. So it's Monday now. On the Friday, I had to be back in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And this person was flying in from Joburg to see me, right? So I had to be back, right? So in my mind, I was going to make that trip no matter what, regardless of the flooding, right? But I don't know if you ever felt this way, but I was hyper aware of the fact that I was going to die. I knew I was going to die if I kept on driving. It was inevitable. And if you look at the news reels after those few days, all the flooded roads and eroded roads and stuff, I was going to die, right? And I knew it with such certainty. But because I'd made commitments, I was just going to power through.
You're just going to,
Right. So the bike is going, I was like, oh, thanks, gods. I've never felt that good about something like that happening to me.
And this
right?
is a freaking bike.
Yeah. So this thing's worth like 30K.
Yeah.
Right? Gone. I was like, oh yeah, that's wonderful. Right. So then now I go back upstairs. I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. I have to go report it obviously to get my insurance money, blah, 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 blah. Right. But now the door has taken up the moisture from the rain. Right. So now I can't close the door from the outside. I can only close it from inside. Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm marooned in this flat. Right. So I just had to like really force it closed, but I also did damage to the hinges and stuff. Going to the police station, reported the case, got a case number, went to Pick n Pay to buy groceries. Now I'm stuck here. I can't drive away. Went to the beach, because I was staying like 50 meters away from the beach.
Okay.
Went to go see the beach, blah, blah, blah. Came back to the flat. And after that, I realized I actually can't leave this place until I get a flight out. Right? Because I would only close the door maybe 3 more times after that without really doing damage to it, because I really had to like bang it closed. And then I was like, actually, no, it's fine. Let me take this as a break from the actual road trip and just focus on creative pursuits. So then I started painting and drawing and sketching and reading. They had a lot of books. I started reading. And a friend of mine who I'd done the rope shoot with then recommended me to a friend of hers who I'd never met before. She came to visit the one night and we did a rope shoot as well. It was fantastic. And so now, because of this theft, I was marooned in this room. I couldn't leave that room, that flat, right? Until that Saturday. So from Tuesday morning until Saturday, I was in the same space by myself. Right? I had all my food, my groceries, blah, blah, blah. I only saw one other human being.
Damn.
Internet ran out like the first day. So like I was just by myself. So it was very same as a bike trip now, solo experience. Except now you can hear people outside. You can see the beach and it's lovely. The weather eventually cleared. So it's like sunny days and you're just like indoors by yourself. So that was also quite a hectic challenge. You're like in solitary basically. Because like in prison, you can see everyone else in general, or you know that everyone else in general population is having a good time. They get their 1 hour in the yard, right? And maybe if a little windy, you can look outside, but you're by yourself. It's not like everyone on the planet died. Nah, everyone is still here, but you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, your mind goes to hectic places. And eventually, I book a flight to leave on the Saturday, right? And then I remembered, oh snap, the paperwork was for insurance, right? The insurance, I'd been paying my insurance all along for bike number 1. I was now on bike number 2. Exact same bike, just exact same bike. Just I bought a new one of the same bike, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, will insurance pay for this bike? Because as far as they're concerned, I'm paying for bike number 1, even though my registration is now for bike number 2. Shit, what do I do? And then I was just like, actually, no, it's fine. I didn't die. There were things in life. And if they don't pay out, they don't pay out. And I already knew they were not going to pay out. That's what I knew in my mind. Like, because insurance is always trying to get your money.
Yeah.
Right? Or keep your money, rather. And then so I phoned my broker when I came back after the road trip. Now it's a flight trip. And he's like, oh, yeah, I don't think they'll pay out. But anyway, let's just try and find out. And they paid out the full amount minus 1,000 rand. You lie. Yeah. I was like,
were they just nice to you? Or?
Yeah, no, I'm just like, listen, this is what happened. Here's my proof here, blah, blah. They're like, okay, cool, do the paperwork and we'll make this happen for you. And most of the people from the Airbnbs, I'm like, listen, I can't make the trip. Just give me back my money. I need to buy a new bike, blah, blah, blah. It's intrinsic to my business. Yes. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. People gave me back my money. Then I did a fundraising effort on Instagram for the business, the tappy thing. I'm like, listen, I need to get a new bike. It's essential for my livelihood. I managed to raise 5,000 rand.
Yeah.
Which was a third of what I needed to buy the bike I have right now, which is my temporary bike, right? And then insurance paid out. I'm like, oh snap, insurance paid out. So now I can buy the original bike because it's safer. And the funds I raised now can buy equipment for the business, right? So the fundraising actually led to... So this whole trip led to an improvement in my business project.
Yeah.
Right. And now I can do more meaningful things for my work. I was like, what a wonderful outcome, right?
And bizarre.
Thing. Yeah, it's very bizarre experience, right?
Wow.
So it made me question then our ideas of, which we will touch on a little bit later, but our ideas of what's good and what's bad, right? Because if you look at that one act of someone stealing my motorbike, right, we would all agree it's a bad thing to do,
yes,
right? Sure, it's a bad thing that's been done, but are the implications bad? Is it a bad thing that's happened to me versus this person did a bad act? Right? But it was actually a good service to me, right? I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, right? If you look at anything for long enough, the consequences could be different, right? And ultimately, the consequences are we're all going to die in any case. So if I do something bad to you now, and you're still going to die in 30 years from now, was it really a bad thing? Because it didn't change the outcome. You're still going to die. Right? So then I started having this trippy conversation with myself around realities and morality. Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah. That's hella interesting. Just gonna pay some bills real quick. Okay, guys. This episode is obviously brought to you by brothersbeard.com.africa. Sorry. For all your beard oil needs, just look them up on their website, brothersbeard.africa. They've got a Brothers Beard kit, which is a comb, a brush, balm, and beard oil. Then they have a Brothers Beard set, which is Brothers Beard oil and balm. And then they just have the Brothers Beard oil, which goes for $200. Check them out. I use them all the time. My beard is nice and healthy, and yours will be too if you do that. I can guarantee it. I would not endorse it if I did not believe in it. But as far as this episode is concerned, this is it. Thanks so much for joining me. Tappy, appreciate it. Jeff, what's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram is _Tappy, TAPI_Tappy. So Tappy, but with 2 underscores.
2 underscores. Yeah. Okay. In the middle and at the beginning. So _Tappy. Yeah. Check him out on Instagram. He's got great products, ice cream, sorbets, stuff like that. Some good stuff.
With African flavors.
Flavors.
Yeah, more importantly.
More importantly, absolutely. It's very good. Check him out on his Instagram. Does deliveries in Cape Town, Stellenbosch area.
Yeah.
So check him out. Some good stuff. And he also, do you plug your roping stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Yeah. So I also have an Instagram page that talks focus on rope bondage, but also sex education and sex positivity.
Yeah.
And that's called Sunga Konji. SUNGAKONJI. Sunga Konji. And that's just a sex education space. Yeah.
Right. So check out his Sunga Konji Instagram page too. Interesting stuff going on there too. And Konji is rope, right?
Yeah.
So and Sunga is tie. So tying rope. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So thanks so much for joining me again. It was a great episode, great story. And I'm glad it all worked out. I actually didn't know. I knew the part where your bike was stolen. I didn't know the whole story. So this was fun, and I'm glad it worked out.
It was a fun journey.
Yeah.
I recommended everybody should do a solo trip by themselves.
Not necessarily on a bike.
No, it doesn't have to be on a bike. Yeah.
Or you don't recommend.
I'm still going to do the trip.
Okay.
Because I never managed to finish it. So
you didn't finish it because coming back. So even going, also you didn't finish it.
I went halfway. Literally halfway point, and then the bike was stolen.
Okay.
So I still have to finish the whole circuit. I'm going to go back.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Amateur Opinions. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one. Peace.
Cheers.